Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Forum Trajanum. Forum Trajanum is a Stefan Feld game. It is built for 2 to 4 players. It supposedly plays half hour per player, so if you've got all 4 players, it'll play for 2 hours. That feels about right. 2 players, it feels like it goes a little longer than that half hour, but I may just be surrounding myself with AP people. I will start by saying I really like Stefan Feld's work. I really like the games that he's put out. He's not my absolute favourite designer, but he's up there amongst that, and I believe he's up there amongst the majority of people's favourite designers. He's one of those names that keeps coming out whenever we go, oh, have you tried the new Feld? We know what we're talking about. There's people will pull together lists of just Feld games and things like that. He's a quality designer, a really good designer. I don't necessarily think this is his strongest piece, but I do quite like this game. Now, I have only had 2 games of it, one with all 4 players, one with just 2 players. Both have played actually really well. So the way that it changes between the player count actually works really nicely in this game. And I find that that's not necessarily the case with all games that we play. That, you know, you get games that go up to the 5 players, it's not necessarily right to play them with 5. Or if it is right to play with them 5, it's probably not right to play it with 2. Right at those extremes are, you know, they're a bit iffy, a bit questionable on some games. Some games they work great on, don't get me wrong, but sometimes not so much. This game works really nicely at all the player counts that I've seen so far. The only one I haven't played at is 3, and there's no reason for it not to work at 3 players. The game itself lives on your board. Now, there's an interesting thing with this one. You're selecting 2 guys off your board in accordance with which cards have been brought out. So it tells you which rows or which columns to go into. Out of those 2 that you're selecting, you look at the other side of their little piece that you're selecting, and you will see what you'll gain for that. Now, out of the 2, you'll give one of them to the player next to you, and you'll keep the other one. You'll then take in a new one from the player next to you. I don't know if that's useful. I don't believe that I have once used the piece that's been handed to me. It seems like it's almost just to pull 2 off, choose one, and throw the other one away. It is what it actually feels like you're doing, even though you're giving it to the other person, taking one in. Look, you could use it if both the pieces you pull out are gross and you don't like them. You could use the one from the person that the person next to you's given you. But that mechanism, I don't know if it's necessary in this game. I really don't. I like the idea of it, but I don't know if it's 100% necessary. But that may be because I simply haven't had to use it. I haven't had a point where I've gone, no, I think I'll do this one. Oh, this is way better. Let's do that. I don't think I've come across that. Now, depending on the building type that you do, you'll get some extra benefits from that, some extra bonuses. Now, there are some that you will enable you to put your cards or your little people that you've used up onto this space, and you try and get as big an area as possible up there. There's others that you'll use that will enable some stuff to happen, and you want to get sets of those in the various rows, not in the columns, just in the rows, because that gets you points as well. This whole push and pull of which one to go for is really important, really hard to understand. Once you get into it, you're kind of like, oh yeah, I really like that. On the outside, it's kind of, oh, I want to do that, but there's no guys left. If there's no guys left, you probably have to do the other one. But doing the other one, there's value in it. This whole push and pull, and this is really where the Stefan Feld games sit and live, is just in this beautiful push-pull space of there's so much stuff I want to do, but I can't do all of it. I really appreciate that. I think that's a really good thing. In my Gamesplanation, I'll go through this way of selecting things and what you're opening up, because you're told by the cards that are over there what you're actually trying to do, what you're trying to gain in order to gain some extra points at the end of the rounds. There's 3 rounds total. Doing this thing here will get you 3 points at the moment, but if you'll do it in the next round, it's only going to get you 2. So doing that early is actually an important thing to do, because that'll push you forward with points. Now, there's a lot of stuff happening there. You can see the going up on these other tracks will get you some extra benefits, some extra bonuses, and they're really worthwhile as well. You cannot get to the end of all of the tracks and do stuff up there. There's not enough time, there's not enough space in the game to be able to do everything. I really like that. I really appreciate that in games. When you're trying so desperately to do something, but you so desperately want to do this, and this, you just can't. You can't. So you need to get a focus, and focusing in on that one thing. Now, here's the issue I've found with this game. Whoever is leading at the end of the first round, because there's 3 rounds, there's 3 scoring rounds, whoever's leading, it's really hard to then catch up to them. You've got to do something pretty special to catch them and to pass them. So as a general rule, if you have managed to find a way to get a gap in the first round, so that first set of scoring, you're very likely to win the game. And it might just be in the way this is scored, it might just be in the games that I've had of this, that it just feels that way. There must be a way to catch up, but I haven't come across it yet. So if you do, please comment below. Say, hey, no, that's not right. Do this, and suddenly you'll catch up, cause points. What I did discover with this game is in reading the rulebook, I had like 4 goes at actually getting through the rules and to kind of get my head around what was actually happening. Once I'm playing it, it actually played relatively easily and fairly straightforward and understandable. I'm finding this a lot. You may have noticed me saying really similar things on other games, but I'm finding this a lot in more recent games that the rulebooks are actually quite tough to get through. But once you're playing them, they just make sense. It just works. This game is one of them. Unfortunately, it's hard to get through the rulebook, but once you play it, it just works. So look, if you have a copy of Forum Trajanum and you're trying to get to the table, but you can't get through the rulebook, watch my Gamesplanation to get a feel for how the game actually kind of pulls together, because I think you'll actually enjoy it. I do enjoy this game. I think this is a good game. I think it's a worthwhile one to have, and I've said that about a heck of a lot of games. I'm very aware of it because it just rolls off my tongue really easily. But yeah, this is a good game. Just like every other game that I've had in recent history, they've been really good games. There's just something about these couple of games, these few games that I've had recently that they just work. But getting through the rules on each of them, not necessarily the easiest thing in the world. So look, go ahead, watch my Gamesplanation, watch my Gamesplay, get a feel for the game, get a feel for how it flows, how it goes together and how it plays. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be Gamesplained, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games that I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.